Toujours avec moi, la gang? Ça va bien? Ça va? Ouais? La forme? Madame, vous allez bien? Super. Ça va bien? Excellent. Alors, sans plus tarder, je vais vous présenter un de nos partenaires hors de cette journée. So I'd like to introduce you to Kevin Klein. He's the Channel Account Manager for ShipStation. Without further ado, please welcome on stage Kevin Klein.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I am the Kevin Klein. There might be another one out there, but I claim to be the one. So I've only got 5 minutes, and I wanted to talk about specifically two things. Shipping and the threat of, or the 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is Amazon, and how they are sort of upending the entire marketplace of e-commerce. And then I want to talk about a theme that I've been seeing sort of throughout this entire conference is the idea of branding and how merchants need to be thinking about their brand first, not just on the front end and in the way that they interact with their customers during purchase, but also during the post-purchase experience. So ShipStation really strives to emphasize the shipping difference, right? We try to emphasize that shipping needs to be not an afterthought when they're thinking about how they fulfill their products, when they think about how they're interacting with their brands. Customers' expectations are sky high now. One of the big things that we find is that Amazon has created an expectation where you will get your package in 2 days free. And so I think a lot of merchants are sort of grappling with, how do I meet that expectation? So one statistic I always like to throw out that I think surprises a lot of people is 56% of people will abandon the cart without free shipping when it's not offered. And survey after survey will tell you that 9 out of 10 people will say that shipping and shipping methods matter to them when they check out. It's very, very important, and I think it's only going to get more aggressive as Amazon reaches towards 1-day shipping, 1-day Prime, 1 day. I ordered something the other day at my office and it showed up in an hour from Amazon Prime now. So it's only going to get worse, and merchants need to be thinking about it. So the real struggle is, how do merchants tackle free shipping? It's very scary in a lot of circumstances to say, I have to guarantee 2-day free shipping to all of my customers. So there are a lot of ways to do that. One is multi-carrier solutions, looking at all the various carriers, what they charge, being able to bring rates into a central location, and then be able to compare and contrast those rates. Very, very important. The other is automating, just the ability to come in and say, always pick the cheapest rate from this zip code to this zip code, so that when you have all your orders generating into a certain place, you can use that automation logic to automatically select that rate. Very, very important. So the other big piece, outside of just tackling free shipping, is that idea of branding. So this, I think, is a theme that I keep seeing, and when Blake was up here from Movement Watch, is really inspiring. I loved his idea of small, going small, little changes you can make in the post-purchase experience or any experience in the customer journey that can make a huge impact. So we've come up with this idea at ShipStation of the idea of branded shipping, the post-purchase experience. The idea is that once that order is placed and that item goes out, there's a trust. There's a trust that exists there that item will show up on time. And I think a lot of merchants find that it's the ability to extend their brand after the initial purchase is huge. One of the ways that we try to do that at ShipStation is the idea of the branded checkout, or the email itself, the delivery email. This email, we notice, ShipStation will send these emails out, these shipment notification email, to everyone that gets a product. And we notice this email gets 100% click-through. It really is shocking to me. Every single person that gets that email opens it. And I'm the worst offender. I don't know about you guys, but if I order something I really want, so I'm a musician, if I order a new guitar, I am clicking on that shipment notification email over and over and over and over again. And so, and I don't know, raise your hand if you click that email when you get So surprisingly, everyone does, right? So what we tried to do was come away with the idea of really customizing that email. I've gotten emails from top brands in the US, black and white text with a tracking number that tells me nothing. It's always shocking to me, but that's a touch point. It's a touch point in the journey where you have an opportunity or the merchant has an opportunity to extend their brand. So we think that's a big point. The other one is the tracking experience. This always shocks me too. So how many times have you clicked on that tracking number and it bounces you off to the carrier site, right? UPS or FedEx or Purolator, right? You've literally bounced the customer or the end user outside of the branded experience. So at ShipStation, we try to tell people, hey, there's a better way. You can actually bounce them to a page that's branded, that can show where, reinforcing the brand. You can relink them to social, really kind of take them on the journey all the way through, and instead of bouncing them to a carrier site. So with that, I am going to introduce Greg Zakowicz. He is a senior e-commerce marketing analyst at Oracle Bronto. We were speaking earlier, he consults with Fortune 500 companies. He also runs a award-winning podcast. Please give a big warm welcome to Greg Zakowicz.
Guys, how are we doing today? Thank you. How are we doing? Anyone? Yes? All right, there we go. Thanks, first of all, thank you for the conference. Thank you for all the presenters today. Thank you to all the sponsors for today's session. And of course, thank you for everyone who's shown up today and hanging in there in mid to late afternoon when you guys are starting to fall asleep. So hopefully, I'm not a very serious guy. Hopefully I can keep you awake and entertained and laughing along the way. By the way, how many people here put a call out to sign up for their email program inside those order confirmation messages or shipping confirmation messages? You guys should do that, right? You can track exactly where they're coming in from, but grow your list as well. That's not part of the presentation, but there you go. For those that are maybe not familiar with who Bronto is, just a real quick spiel just to set the stage today. We are an email marketing platform. We've been around for about 17 years now, probably an Oracle company now. So I've been with the company for about 7.5 years, between two different roles. First, as mentioned, client consulting. So we have strategic services in-house. I worked for about 4.5 years directly consulting clients on their email program, providing recommendations, guidance to improve and drive more revenue through that channel. Last 3+ years, I've moved over to my marketing analyst role where I'm following consumer and retail shopping trends and figuring out how the customer experience and how email fits into that world. We are pretty much universal for connecting with backend platforms, so e-com platforms. We have kind of plug-and-play integrations with Magento, Shopify Plus, Shopify, NetSuite, and Salesforce Marketing Cloud, formerly known as Demandware. So more information, just found me afterward. That's about it. So for myself, I mentioned that I was between the two different roles. If anyone likes podcasts, please download some episodes. It's me talking about email marketing, e-commerce, how many fish you can name in 15 seconds, weird things like that. So hopefully we keep you entertained, but download some as well. Quickly, before we get going, please do not trade in any Oracle stock based on anything I say today or in the future, and stay out of jail, and we'll keep you in good mindset. So email is powerful, and of course I would say that because I work for an email provider, but if you look at the power of email, it continues to be one of the, if not the highest ROI generating digital marketing channels we see out there. And you can look up different stats and figures and see things like 38 to 1, 42 to 1, 44 to 1. So every $1 you spend on email, you generate $38. In the United States, Cyber Monday is our largest online shopping day of the year this past year. $7.9 billion spent online. 24% was driven from email. For the entire holiday season, November through the end of December, 20% of all web traffic is referred by email. Those are huge numbers. But by the title of the presentation, you can tell most companies are still doing it wrong. And I'm here to show you some ways that we can do it right, but also explain to you how they're doing it wrong. So let's take Nicole here, who may or may not be my wife. Don't really know. She's shopping for a green sweater. So what is she going to do? She's going to go through that traditional customer journey model, which is I'm going to first go to Amazon and type in best green sweater, and then she's going to go to Google and type in best green sweater. She's going to go on social, ask her friends, where can I get the best green sweater? She might search on social. She might get to your website, and she might go to her retailers that she shops with, and then when I leave the house, she'll go to some place like Tiffany's and see what they recommend for best green sweaters, because we know it's cheap then. And as a company, what are you doing? Well, we've got Nicole shopping, so we're going to do paid search ads. We're going to spend money there. We're going to do social ads. We're going to spend money there. If we get her to land on our website, maybe we'll offer a discount for signing up for the email program and hopefully convert her. or spending money to acquire a new customer. Everyone does that. And you had a really good day today because you won. Nicole bought your green sweater. So she's pumped. She's getting a sweater that she's vetted, she's gone through the process, and she feels comfortable with the process. She has also not gotten the sweater yet, so she's pumped about your brand. She's excited about you. You are pumped because all that money you spent to acquire a customer worked. Customer acquisition. But most companies do this wrong. So, you guys ever go to comedy clubs? How many people go to comedy clubs? That's it? You guys need to laugh more. We got one back there. Now, you ever go to a comedy club thinking, I'm not sitting up front because I might get called on stage? You guys ever think that? You don't care? I was going to say it's your lucky day, because you guys, I don't know if you knew this, you guys were in the market for granola bars. Did you guys know that? I have 2 delicious granola bars right here. And you're both going to buy them for me. How much money do you have? You have any cash? Coins? Venmo? Nothing? How about you? How much do you have?
You got some Bali money.
I'll take it. I'm going to Bali one day. 50,000, I like that. Oh, I see American money. I'll trade you the American money. I don't even need to convert this when I go back to the States. This is great. So what did we learn today? Are you guys hiring? Yeah. At work? You should talk to them if you don't have any money. You might. All right, congratulations. You guys both bought granola bars. All right? What did we learn from this experience? It's pretty easy to get $20 from someone just because you stand on stage. This is nice. All right, so for you, what's your name? Philip. Nice to meet you, Philip. Want to buy another one?
What's the offer?
You tell me. I saw money in there. You want to buy another one? I mean, you're the one that's buying granola bars. You just stole hers. He stole hers. All right, how about this? You want to buy this one? Okay. Want to buy this one? You're ruining this, by the way. Just letting you know. Here, you want to buy more granola bars?
I'm lost now.
See? All right, let's just assume you said no. All right? And what's your name? I'm sorry? Anya. Beautiful name. You have a beautiful name, too. So, Anya, that is a super crunchy granola bar. I don't want you making a mess, all right? So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a napkin, lay it out, put it on your lap, put it on the table, whatever you do. Eat over the napkin, okay? So when you're done, you just wrap it up, throw it in the trash, you're nice and clean. You don't have to vacuum later either. It's great, all right? All right. But I want to say thank you, all right? Thanks for making the purchase from me. Okay. Anya, do you like yogurt? Do you like ice cream? Really? What do you like? Well, you like what? You're lactose-free. You like coconut ice cream. Lactose-free? Oh, there we go. I knew I'd get something. Anya, there are 2 granola bars in there. Take your boring lactose-free ice cream. There's a recipe in there. Turn your other granola bar into a delicious meal. You could use it for ice cream, lactose-free yogurt, whatever you want. Those recipes are yours, all right? By the way, one more thing. There's a cup of chamomile tea here. Now, there's 2 granola bars in there. Now, that granola bar is going to be delicious, but that is scientifically engineered to be drank or to be eaten with this cup of tea. The chamomile is going to bring out flavor. You're going to taste the soil that those oats are grown in, and you might even pick up a hint of a bee wing from the honey driven from there. It's only $1. If you want a truly remarkable experience, would you like to buy this for $1? Sure. Who had the better experience? It's a trick question. You're at my presentation. You all had a great experience. Did Anya have a better experience? Why? I'm nicer to her, right? I actually cared for her. I just didn't steal $20 from him. By the way, I'm hoping you forget that. But here's your $20 back. There you go. She had a better experience. This experience happens every single day from an e-commerce and retail landscape. And it looks like this. Nicole buys a sweater. And the next day or 2 days later, she gets a promotional email that says, buy something. And the next time, she gets a promotional email that says, buy something. And the next day, she gets a promotional email that says, buy something. The next day, another one. I once bought something last year. I was tracking purchases, and I bought something. The next day, I got 3 promotional emails to buy something. You know what this experience is like? It's like saying, thanks for your money. Let's just buy some more crap from us. There is product differentiation everywhere here. The mistake we made was, there you go, I proved it to you, see? The mistake we made was assuming this was the customer journey, that when they get to the end here, we just loop her right back in and we do the same marketing tactics that got her there. And we think that's going to build loyalty. We think it's going to get her to be an advocate for us, and it's not. What's going to happen if she goes down this experience? She's going to go 3 months and she's not going to buy again. And the smart marketer is going to say, well, geez, my email guy told me, best practices tell me I should send a win-back or lapse purchase campaign. After all, I won her, I got a purchase. What's the best practice with a lapse purchase or win-back campaign? High discounts, generally increasing over a couple messages. It is 5 times more expensive to acquire a new customer than retain an existing one. And now what we're doing here is we're also taking this lapse purchase, we're saying, okay, they've lapsed. Let's spend more money on retargeting on social. Let's spend more money retargeting on paid search to get her back. We're just trying to acquire the same customer we've already acquired. And you bought her once, you have not won her. So I have spent the last, I don't know how many years, 10 years, looking at the customer journey. I've spent probably $5,000 of my own money developing a new customer journey model. I'm going to display it right here. First time ever. Get your phones ready. Everyone ready? Get your phones. This is what the model looks like. I can't believe I paid someone $5,000 to come up with this. Today's consumers can buy any product wherever they are, wherever that product is in the world, and they probably expect fast free shipping for it. They are distracted. Distracted socially, distracted personally, distracted by the volume of brands competing for the same thing. And it's not what we need. We need to think proactive, not reactive. We need to think, instead of doing this, we say, let's send some messages that say thank you. Sending a message that simply says thank you after someone makes a purchase drives tons of revenue. It helps build that brand loyalty. It makes the purchase experience better, like drinking tea, where you can taste the soil. It's perfect, right? This is an experience. But Nicole expects this. She expects it because of the change in the marketplace. Do we think 10 years ago that you'd be sitting at home on your couch in your underwear? I see heads nodding already. That resonate with you? Yeah, underwear, yeah. 10 years ago, on the couch in her underwear, trying on cosmetics and being able to buy it right from there. Things change. My color palette has changed over the last 10 years. It's unbelievable. If consumers expect this from a shopping experience, they expect even more from an email experience. This is from 2016. 2016. What consumers expect retailers to put in their messages to make it more effective. You look at the data points here, they're not earth-shattering things. Interests I gave in my profile, what I browsed on the website, purchases I made. This is data everyone should have. How many people here sign up for marketing emails? Good number. Now, keep your hands up for a second. How many people would find those marketing emails to be consistently useful and relevant to them? Maybe some of them, some not. I don't see a single hand raised. Across the board, 15% of consumers, 15, find emails from retailers to be consistently useful and relevant to them. It means 85% are doing it wrong. And this is why expectations are not being met. But for you, it presents a huge opportunity. It presents an opportunity to own your customer relationship. It presents an opportunity to tell people why you should shop more. It's an opportunity to drive more revenue. It's an opportunity to do it right when they're doing it wrong and differentiate yourself. The one important question you need to ask is, what is the cost of not doing it? If I don't improve that experience, I lose him as a customer after all this money I spent to win him. That's the cost of not doing it. I now lose a repeat customer. I'm digging into more discounts and more margins to win that customer back. Best practices are not an endpoint. Best practices are a medium. If everyone follows best practices, they send the same message to everyone. There's no differentiation between brands. Now, it doesn't mean best practices won't work. It doesn't mean it won't help you drive revenue. But we have this expectation to improve. So, you ever step on Legos, by the way? Any parents in the room? Man, those things hurt. They sliced my foot open one time. It's ridiculous. I didn't do that to tell this story, but everything you change in your email marketing program, as small, simple, and subtle as it could be, is going to change the rest of your email program. They're like building blocks. They're like Legos. You stack one together, and at the end of the day, you're going to have a nice picture. You misalign a couple, you can always go back, take them apart, and fix them. But that's a really important part for this. We do small, simple changes, and they're going to impact the down the road, and it's going to make you more profitable. So this is what simple things can do from an email standpoint. This year, if we want to raise our email revenue 5 to 10%, we want to increase our repeat customers, and we want to decrease customer churn, how do we do that? Because the answer cannot be just to send more emails. It has to be to send smarter emails. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to show you some strategies and tactics you guys can all do. How many people here have at least one person dedicated to email? Put your hand up. That's it? How many people have at least 2 people dedicated to email? Only a couple. How many people have 3 or more people dedicated to email? Man. Oh, there you go. 4 or more? 20 or more? Put your hand up if you don't have enough time in the day to dedicate to email. It's almost everyone. Email is a full-time job, and most companies, no matter, I've worked with some big ones, and they have 1 or 2 people on the email team, and they can't do some of the things that entrepreneurs or small companies want to do. It's hard to scale. Things I want to show you today are how to do things knowing you have limited resources so you can drive revenue and work on the things you need to do. All right, so how many people have a welcome message that goes out? User signs up for your email list, and they get a welcome message to say, welcome to the club. Now, how many of you people have a series built on, so multiple messages going? Pretty close to the same figure. Welcome series can be one of the most powerful series of messages. Again, this came from a retailer who I was having dinner with in Las Vegas last week, and we were over dinner talking strategy. And beforehand, he wanted to send me some metrics about how his programs are doing. The thing to look at here is, look at the bottom 2. Percent of 2018's email revenue, 25%. Percent of sends, 1.6. Automated messages driving 25% of his yearly email revenue. These messages are important. The welcome message should be the most read message you ever send. Probably 80% open rate on there. If it's under 80%, there's probably something going on. Now, here's a story for you. National retailer. They're in Canada, all over the world, but they have nationalistic segmentation and control. So I go there and I sign up, and it says, thanks for signing up. Would you like to provide us some more info? Are you interested in men's, women's, or kids? Simplistic, 1-second info. So I click men's. A couple days later, they have a welcome series. Manage your preferences. So I click on it. Would you like to hear about men's, women's, or kids? I'm like, okay, so I click men's again, 2 times. Now, from the time I sign up to the time I get the very first promotional message, 12 days. Way too long, by the way, way too long. This is the first email that I received. They have set expectations with me by asking me something, and they didn't do anything with those. Why did they ask? To make me feel important? This turns me off. It's a bad experience. Now, maybe they know something I don't know. If I'm invited to speak next year, my name is Melinda, I'll bring this back up and I'll give them credit, but I don't think that's happening. It's a bad experience. This experience will not fly. We have to understand differences between our consumers. The only time these 2 people are buying the same thing is when she runs over to her dad and says, Dad, can I have your credit card so I can buy this thing? We've got to understand these things. A simple way to do that is if you have a pop-up sign-up on your website, or you have even a built-in or static website, static sign-up, where you can easily ask for segmented information, male, female, B2B, B2C, something you can delineate those clear lines, you can ask for it. And what that allows you to do is automate a message that is slightly more relevant. It still goes to everyone. These aren't the prettiest 2 messages in the world, but man, they're effective. Because the female getting it now has different product recommendations. Even the order of the social icons are different. Your competitors are not doing this. You can immediately get a little oomph on your competitors. It's taking a best practice and then taking it 1 step further. Super simple to do, and it's automated. Now, the other thing to do is think about that user experience. Think about how Nicole is navigating your website when she's looking for that sweater. So she goes to your website and she's browsing something. Well, other people are browsing different parts of your website. So let's use these examples. One's viewing jumpsuits, one's viewing men's t-shirts. if they are on this website viewing jumpsuits, they've qualified you, they've gotten to your website, they've bounced around, they like your products, and they said, aha, I want to get your messages now. Shouldn't we be able to capture this information? So we say, hey, if you're browsing jumpsuits at the point you want to sign up to get emails, we should customize a welcome message to you. We should customize a welcome series for you, show you different product recommendations. And you can hide some sort of source code or just have a different pop-up form or different sign-up form on that category of pages to send a very similar message. So here's an actual welcome message from a brand. They want to become known as a jeans leader. It's a nice-looking message. The next two messages are completely made up by me. The content in them came from emails that this brand had already sent me. So let's take the jumpsuit example. The woman getting jumpsuits could get a welcome message that looks like this. And heck, if you even want to put jeans in there, put jeans as secondary or tertiary call to action. The man could get something like this. Immediately more relevant based on their intent of their website for signing up because they're shopping for something. We're going to guide them down that path a little bit. We're going to nudge them along. Very simple things to do, but immediately more relevant and can convert a lot better. Now, the other thing you could do in addition to this, or just as a standalone, say, Greg, we can't do another welcome message, right? We like our message. It performs just fine. Think about the user intent. User intent is really powerful everywhere. Social, it doesn't matter what it is. Someone gets this, and they click on one of those two links in your navigation bar, usually your high-level categories of your website. Well, what is the user intent saying for the person that clicks swimwear? Went to your site, qualified you, signed up, looked for your email, got your email, opened your email, clicked your email, still didn't buy. What do we do now? You can send them a more targeted second message rather than saying a generic message, hey, top swimwear products for the season, hot new styles, new trends. Worst case scenario, you just put some swimwear recommendations down below, top rated, customer favorites. You can still reinforce some of those other things, but there's a lot of intent from that user. They want to buy from you. They need nudging. Same thing for the jeans. Jeans, perfect. They want jeans. How to choose the right size, how to get the perfect fit, what the style, the differences between our jeans styles are. Those things are really important. I had a client that I was presenting this one time, the whole presentation on just this concept. And he goes, oh, that's pretty smart, Greg. I'm going to do that. They have 4 distinct product lines, same consumer, but different needs. They said, we're going to take one of them, click-based. There's 2 call to actions for that individual thing in there. And they automate that out. And here are the metrics from that message. So we're comparing this specific sales-oriented version, top products from that category, compared to this reasons you'll love shopping with us, generic version. All the metrics are better. Revenue per email was at almost 8,000 times better. 3% of the volume of sends compared to the generic version, and it drove more revenue. It's capturing user intent, and it's automated. That's the best thing about it. So that's welcome. That's one. How many people here have cart abandonment messages? How many people like getting cart abandonment messages? How many people like getting them when they have a discount in there? Yeah, a lot of hands there, right? Cart abandonment's funny because 15 years ago, companies were sending cart abandonment messages. They are the most profitable messages you will ever send out of your email program because of the user intent. The intent is so close. Now, most people abandon their shopping carts. You probably see stats like this all the time, 79, 99, whatever it might be. I could care less about this stat. I can care less about it because I want to know why people abandon the shopping cart. They abandon because of product availability. Think of that chaotic customer life cycle. They can get anything anywhere. We've got to drive them back. But what's the best practice strategy? What emails do you get all the time? Oops, left something in your cart. How many people here have accidentally left something in their shopping cart and not bought it? It doesn't. You? Dude, you are like my nemesis today. You want to buy stuff, you're giving me money. You're the first person ever who's given me money, by the way. You should feel good. You accidentally, so let's talk about this. How did you accidentally?
Yeah, well, sometimes life gets in the way. People are on their mobile phone. They're walking in the streets. They're busy. Your mom calls you.
Right.
Drop your cart.
But you were interrupted. You didn't accidentally not buy it. Like, did you go back to buy it?
Depends. Sometimes you forget.
It depends whether you got a message. Okay, that's a fair point. You're definitely in the minority here. But that's right. Distraction. Distraction's a huge thing. But I could come up with a better subject line or a better strategy here. Here's the thing. We were sending these messages 15 years ago. The best practices for shopping cart abandonment messages have not changed. They haven't changed a bit. But they should, because the tools to implement these things and the tools to automate these things are now available. And those tools to segment your customers based on intent is going to impact things like timing of the messages, content of the messages, incentives in the messages, whether you want to incentivize or not, and what those incentives are, and even the number of messages you send. And a lot of the tools and the data you can use for that is, think about the cart products. What's in the cart? What's in the cart? 7 fans, am I aging myself here? So, I mean, think about it. If there's a sale end date in 2 days, do we need to incentivize them? No, we just use fear of missing out, that sense of urgency in there. What's the gender of the product? Can we tout something or add on something or put some product recommendations based on gender? What's the margin? Maybe we only want to incentivize if our margin's 65 or 70%, and the rest where we have a shrunken margin, we don't want to do it. Here's the one thing that people never do. Purchaser. Who the heck is abandoning the shopping cart? Philip here abandons the shopping cart. I'm going to delete him from my email list. I'm not marketing them anymore. I might just call him and be like, Philip, you want to buy something? He'll probably say yes. That's great. Thanks for being a good sport, by the way, Phil. The purchaser, is it a first-time purchaser? Because maybe then I do want to bribe the customer. Are they a second-time purchaser? So most retailers will find the largest profit for that customer is between the first and second purchase. Maybe I want to incentivize them there. Do they buy from me all the time? Because maybe I don't want to incentivize there. Or I'll incentivize because I have an average order value on the customer. And I'll give you a discount, but I'm going to put a minimum spend on there to make you bump that number up. We can do a lot with customization. Doesn't mean you need to come up with 80 messages for every variable, but think about the ones that make sense for your business. And here's an example of what that could look like. Here's 2 abandoned cart messages I got from the same retailer, now out of business. Different products, $20, $600. Here are the messages. Undecided, we can help. All right, you got me. I like it. I need help. Plus, free shipping over $35. The value add of this message is $35 shipping because there is not a phone number or an email address where they tell me how they can help me. In fact, the email sent was a do not reply email address. So now, they're not trying to help. They're trying to force that $35 value. For the headphone guy, that makes a lot of sense. Sure, I'll spend another $15. I'll get my free shipping. I'll get a better pair of headphones. I'm good. Yeah, you ever buy a dishwasher or large appliance online? Yeah, so I abandoned this. This is when I was shopping for a dishwasher. I expect free shipping, but what matters to me as a dishwasher purchaser? Installation services, haul-away services. Do I need new tubes or not? You do, by the way. Those are things I need to know about. What is a quiet rating? I have no earthly idea. You know what's a better message? Undecided? We can help. We have appliance experts on staff 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Direct them to an FAQ section. Direct them to things like product care, or direct them to things like shipping and hallway policies. Those things matter to me. And finally, the number of messages. Do we need to send 4, 5, 6 messages? You can. Usually it's 1, 2, or 3 messages, and we stop there. You don't always need to send 3 messages, but who came up with a 1, 2, 3? I've had clients in the past implement 4 and 5 messages. Some do it only for the holiday season. Some, it works so well, they do it full time now. Here's one retailer who sent, it's not the retailer, but who sent a 4th abandoned cart message, and this is what the metrics of the message look like. Compared to the promotional messages, we see what we should see, high lifts. But it equates for 15% of their total shopping cart abandonment messages. Now, would have some of those people come back to buy again, organically? Probably. But how many people here try to retarget someone after they abandon a shopping cart? Good number of people. My guess is you spend probably a little bit more than you normally would because you know they're so close to purchasing. You know what it costs to send them an email? A penny. Maybe a fraction of a penny based on how many you're sending. I'd rather spend a penny to win a customer, send them a relevant message, than 50 cents or $1 or $2 on a social retargeting ad. That's just me. It matters. These things certainly matter because they're going to impact your budget all the way through. Here's the thing, too. You're going to send them a message anyways. It's probably going to be a batch and blast promotional message or a slightly segmented message. Why not send them something a little more relevant? Last thing I want to talk about is browse abandonment. So this is a up-and-coming strategy. A lot of retailers are starting to implement this because it's much easier to implement now than it was years ago. Browse abandonment really comes down to user goes to your website, they're an email subscriber, they browse around, they don't cart anything, they leave, and you can automate messages that retarget that customer. Messages could be whatever you want. You can say, hey, Greg, we noticed you checking out this beautiful duvet cover. It could just be a message around duvet covers. Doesn't matter. It looks like a promotional message. Why are they effective? Usually one of the most profitable messages you send as well. It's because it's segmentation. Why do we segment messages? More targeted, more relevant, more useful. Do they perform better than promotional messages? Yes, and they should. So let's play a game of Would You Rather. You guys ever play this at university or anything? Yeah, we're going to keep it clean today. Any Maple Leafs fans in the house? Hand? Anyone? Are you scared to admit you're a Maple Leafs fan? All right, Canadiens fan. You, sir. You were in the front row before and you scooted back. I was eyeing up this front row. I'm not sure if you saw something. There you go. What hockey team do you hate? Who else is a Canadiens fan? Anyone? You hate Toronto. You're in good company, apparently. All right, would you rather have the Montreal Canadiens be consistently good, consistently for life, always have a chance to win it, if it meant the Maple Leafs get to win the Stanley Cup next year? Or you have no idea what you're going to get, but you know the Maple Leafs will never win a Stanley Cup. Which would you choose? Canadians? You hate that. All right, that's actually a good answer. So here, I've got 3 granola bars. Which one would you like? No, they're all available for free out there. Here, you get one. All right, that has no relation to this game whatsoever. It's just fun. Would you rather send an email about men's sweaters to people who have purchased men's sweaters in the past, or send an email about men's sweaters to people who were just recently browsing sweaters on your website? Which one do you think will perform better? A? B? Those hands B. B will always perform better. A will convert. It's targeted, it's segmented, but you don't know when they purchased the sweater. Could have purchased it for a gift. Now, you can always set rules in there and say, hey, if they purchased it the last 6 months, you don't know when that repeat purchase is going to come. B, you know they're shopping for it. It's relevant to them. They might have left your site because they're going to check out Amazon or Nordstrom or whoever it is. They're looking at the Gap. It's targeted and relevant, and that's why it converts so well. A lot of times, browse abandonment is better than segmenting. Segmentation can be very simple. It can be extremely complex. It's what you want to segment and what you want to use it for. Let the data do the work for you. Let the software do the work for you. So here's just a promotional message lift on the browse abandonment messages compared to their standard promotional messages. 3% of total yearly email revenue on 0.3% of email sends. Powerful, and everything is automated here. All you do is do a couple things. You come up with some copy creative. You sit out there and you let it roll. So here are metrics for 4 different programs. This is from that person I was having dinner with last week. Ironically about this guy is I was presenting on maybe a welcome series 4 years ago at a conference. I had no idea who this guy was. He had no automation in his email program whatsoever, just batch and blast messages. And he's like, man, this guy is handsome. He looks like he knows what he's talking about. I'm going to start implementing some stuff because it seems like a good idea. And over the years, he just implemented more and more stuff. He actually has more automation than this. He has a birthday message, a VIP message going. This is 2018 metrics. Now, I'm not going to ask you to do addition or anything. Really what we're looking at is 46% of his revenue last year came from just under 3% of his total email sends. 46. Had he not had these 4 years ago, he's not improving the fundamentals of his email program. He's leaving money on the table. Every purchase is now an opportunity to send a post-purchase message, which can nurture and build more brand loyalty. It's not the only thing that's going to create brand loyalty, but if you work on your other things like social, like these guys were talking about, Mark, these are things that are going to work, and these are messages that otherwise money is left on the table because we're not focusing on it. So, the opportunity is huge to do small, simple things. Best practices are a starting point. They're not an end point. You implement the best practices and they say, how do I make this better? How do I take it a step further? Click-based, right? That click-based stuff doesn't have to be a welcome series. It could be post-purchase. It could be a promotional message, and you just automate a message or two, and you limit it to once every 6 months or something, or once seasonally. Let the tools do the lifting. Let the marketing automation fill up. How do you like that granola bar, man? Yeah, see? Let the platform do the lifting. Let the automation handle itself, and you go back and analyze. The most important thing is to pick and choose your goals and focus on one thing at a time. If you do 10% of 10 things, you'll never get anything accomplished, and you can be spinning your wheels and wasting your time. Hey, we want to do a welcome message. We want to do a click-based or a segmented one. Do that one message, implement it, automate it, start working on the next one. The beauty there is that you start to capture KPIs and metrics while you're building other things. So if something is not performing like you think it should, you can look at that before you put 10 messages into place and say, okay, why wasn't this performing? What do we need to shift here? And build that into the rest of your program. Think about content you already have. Social media. Let's do social an example. I've got an Instagram post that does really well. All my fans are clicking on it. Why don't you take a screenshot of that or something and tie that outfit into an email? Using social proof into your emails to sell things. So make your jobs a little bit easier, but you can also incorporate that into, say, post-purchase messaging. Hey, this outfit, they bought the hat, they didn't buy the jeans or the blouse or whatever else it is. If they bought one of these SKUs, let's automate this complete the look email. And it's content we already have. And remember the 15%. Remember, 15% of consumers find marketing emails from brands to be consistently useful. The question I would pose to you is look at your own company, look at your own emails with a clean slate, and ask what your companies would say, your customers would say about yours. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. If you're providing a bad experience like I did to Philip, especially since I kept going to him, you're going to lose a customer, and you're going to try to win them back. You can do a good experience like I did to Anna. Is it Anna or Anya? Anya. She's more likely to consider us for a purchase. She's more likely to recommend us. She's more likely to buy again. So with that being said, we've got a few minutes for questions. You guys feel free to contact me. If anyone's shy asking in front of the group, I'll be around. You come ask me. But questions? Yes, sir. Sure. So the question, for those that couldn't hear, was thoughts on email subscription pop-ups. And the gentleman over there, what's your name? David? David said he hates them. How many people hate them? How many people that hate them use them? Couple. So my thought is they're the best list growth. Here we go. Thank you. They're the best list growth tactic you're going to have to get you qualified leads. Now, that welcome message, like I said, should have the highest open rate. It will probably have the highest unsubscribe rate from your messages, too. Maybe after the first promotional message after someone buys. But it's because some people might want a discount. Here's what we see. So Bronto has a native built-in pop-up, which means we collect data on this. And I was talking, 6 months ago about pop-ups, and I had a couple slides in here. I'm going to try to remember off the top of my head. You say you hate them. A lot of people in the room say they hate them. Everyone uses them, which is right. Well, people are getting used to them. So we've been doing pop-up for years for Bronto. On mobile, has a higher submission rate than on desktop for pop-ups. I personally like them from a strategic point of view because I think they're effective. I think people get them, they're used to them. The biggest advice I would give is if you're going to use them, make them very easy to close out of. Make sure you have cookies so they're not getting them every single time. You want to protect against some of those things. And you might want to even turn off, I don't know if you have this functionality, but you might even want to turn off if you're using a paid search ad to get someone in there and you're spending money to get them over, maybe disable the pop-up for certain pages or categories of the site. I know that's one thing I hate is when I get a, say, order confirmation message or something, or I click on a marketing email and I go there and then it's popping up again. That drives me crazy. All right, so having those settings in place, I personally like them. I've seen them to be extremely effective. And I think people are getting used to them. And I think with phone sizes getting larger now, I think some of that friction is going away. Does that help? Yes, ma'am. This is going to end poorly. You would think I played sports my whole life, too, man. This is embarrassing.
What do you think about the chat bot by Messenger to connect with people?
Do you use it for customer service, or is it one of the things that just show up when you're
No, can
when
we
you land
have
on there?
a dialogue with the a new customer? But on Facebook.
So I personally dislike when I land on a page for the first time and there's like a chat window there. I do like live chat. I use live chat. More and more stats you're seeing is people expect live chat to be as part of that customer service experience. I've used it to complete purchases before where the checkout wasn't working. Sorry. Thought you were saying something, Phil. Oh, you got excited there. So I've used it because I was having trouble filling out the address. It wasn't recognizing my address, and I went on live chat, and they're like, oh, you have to type this in, which was really weird, but I made the purchase. Otherwise, I would have abandoned it and left. So I personally like it. I think it depends on how you use it, though. I can't stand when it just shows up there, but I would tout it as a function. So put in your email, it's live chat available 24/7. Do you guys use chat bots, or is it live staffed?
Chatbot with ManyChat, you know ManyChat?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
ManyChat, you can do that automatically.
Okay.
So you have a conversation, but it's automatic, and they can choose an answer, and then you respond.
Okay. So the other pet peeve of mine is I can generally tell when I'm talking to a chat bot. Like if it's something that's like, I want to open live chat and ask me a couple questions, what are you talking about? I'm fine with that. When you can tell you're talking to a robot that's not giving you the right answers, that drives me crazy. I think it's a poor customer experience. So I would try to just fine tune a little bit. What demographic are your customers? Are they younger, older?
Oh, it can be anyone.
Can be anyone?
Yeah.
Gen Z, which is 8 to turning 22 this year, and then your millennials increasingly like it. Gen Z expects live chat on as part of theirs. So if that makes up a good percentage of your audience, I would certainly consider it at that point. I don't know if that's helpful for you. I don't know if it answered the question,
No,
but
that's okay. Thank you. You want it back?
yeah, you can probably just pass it up. Well, you're probably there. We go. She's better than I am. Yes, sir.
Yes, you talk about asking question to consumer, like at first email, are you a man or a girl, or asking it on your website, like what tool do you need, if there's many tools, to make it happen. Asking question on your website and then personalizing email, and asking it in email and then personalizing your...
So it depends on, yeah, we're good. It depends on the tool you're using. Obviously, if you're using the Bronto platform, and your name, I'm sorry? Luke? Thanks for the question, Luke. So Bronto allows you have a pop-up inside the software itself. It's available to you, you deploy it on your site. You can just use that software to put those fields in. There's other softwares that will allow you to put a couple fields into that form. Once they submit, those fields automatically update to the customer record in there. Based on the automation, all you would need is a trigger and some sort of filter. Is it male? Yes, send this message. Is it female? Yes, send this message. Is it, if you don't force them, is it generic? If so, send generic message. Automation is super simple on it. Putting the fields in there is super simple. It's probably going to depend on the email provider you use, the pop-up, if you use a different pop-up tool for that, and just making sure that's synced. But it's super easy to do if you have the right platform. It'll literally take you 5 minutes to set up, outside of building the message. I think, Philip, my man.
Yeah. Do you have any tips to land in the primary
That was a joke.
inbox? Any tips?
You talk about Gmail, primary versus promotion, or just inbox?
Yeah. Specifically for Gmail.
Okay, so the question was, any tips for landing in Gmail's primary tab versus promotional tab, right? Not really. So Gmail's tricky. I have a recent podcast from 2 weeks ago on all about deliverability. 45 minutes, we cover this. The way Gmail works, that the most aggressive inbox or ISP that there are, they're going to put you in promotional. The only thing that you can really do to get in there is if you have a lot more text in your message, but that text is a little more generic where they don't know who you are, or someone actually stars you. When this rolled out, years ago, was it 5 years ago, the promotions tab, we've seen no indication that it impacted open rates, read rates, anything like that. I personally like the promotions tab. The argument that will give you is, hey, when I want to shop for something or I want to consider buying something, I know where it is, I'll go look for it. I've seen no indication that it actually impacts the open rate, and I get bothered when promotional stuff winds up in my primary tab. Now, I also use a different email address for that stuff because I'm signed up for hundreds of them, but But no, I think you're kind of out of luck. But I don't think it's a bad thing. So I wouldn't stress about it. Yes, ma'am. So the question was around frequency emails and what's the right number to send on a weekly basis. The consultant's cop-out answer is to test it, right? Every consultant will be like, oh, you should test that, A/B test it. The answer is, to be completely honest with you, there's no right one. I think it's going to depend on the products you sell, what your emails look like, how relevant they are, and kind of monitoring unsubscribe rates when you increase and decrease that a little bit. Obviously, you're probably, what kind of products do you sell? Phone cases? I'm going to try to come up with a random number for you and be like, this guy has no idea what the hell he's talking about. A problem with phone cases is you never know when someone, it's like flowers. You never know when someone's going to die, right? And you just got to keep sending them out there. You never know when someone's going to get married. Is that better? Yes. So I don't use a phone case, and until I got the new iPhone, I never broke my phone, and then I started breaking it all the time. You never know when someone's going to need a new one, or it wears out, or things like that. I mean, think about yourself, though. If I got 3 phone case emails a week, I'd probably be like, all right, guys, enough. Do you guys have other complementary products, or is it just phone cases? Okay. If you're not sending once a week and you sell something online, shame on you. I would say most companies can probably get away with at least 3 a week. I used to have clients that send 3 a day, every day, and I'm like, that's too much. And they're like, well, we always make money on them. And I'm like, you're losing more purchasers than not. I'm going to say 3 times a week, probably, until you get new product set, probably your borderline high, just a gut feel of mine. When you get a new product set, I think you guys are probably easy 3 times a week, if not 4, because you'll have different things to promote. But do you guys segment at all? Segment? So the one thing you may want to consider is, as opposed to saying, all right, we still want to send 3 times a week because it drives revenue, and you never know when people are going to need cell phones. The one thing you could do is use segments for exclusionary purposes. So, hey, we got people that bought within the last month. Let's only send them once a week to stay on top of mind for these things, and they'll eventually fall off that segment, and they start getting more. So you might send 80% of your messages, but I always say a message not sent is much better than an irrelevant message, right? Top of mind. And that may be one strategy you want to do, is just kind of reverse engineer that. But I think once a new product set comes out, I think easy 3 times a week. I think you guys will be safe.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Awesome. I'm going to give that back to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
You'll be there still, right?
I will be around. If anyone has questions, you come find me.
Great. So, j'espère que vous avez bien apprécié. Je vous invite à rester des nôtres pour la dernière conférence de Richard Cohen dans quelques minutes. If you do marketing for the sake of doing marketing, you will fail. Big time. So, on va commencer dans peut-être 3-4 minutes tout au plus. Je vous invite à rester en salle. Très rapidement, on va recommencer. Merci beaucoup.